Hello and welcome to the channel. And for today's video, we have what might be the most anticipated action figure of the year with regards to Transformers, that is. We are going to have a look at the new Studio Series 86, number 31, Transformers the movie Optimus Prime. This figure might be, it's not perfect, but it could be the most perfect version of Optimus Prime for the mainline that we will ever get, unless they decide to go with a higher budget, right? So this is the Commander class, which is in the 80 something $89 price budget. So they could afford to squeeze in a lot of engineering for a figure that is, but normally for the past few years, been a Voyager class figure that since the price range first started, was in the first between the $20 to $25 range, and then slowly creeping up, until most recently where a Voyager would cost you around 30 something dollars. So now they squeezed all of that engineering for an $89 price point into a 7.5, 8-inch action figure. And we're going to have a look at all of that engineering in a short while. But like I'm saying, for a figure that is supposed to be, for the mainline, this is the most advanced engineered action figure outside of maybe a triple changer that you will see for a Transformer. Right now we have the box. I ordered this through Amazon USA. I was able to, I originally missed the window for the first pre-order when the figure was first announced, and the pre-orders were released, which was early in the summer of this year. And because it sold out, quickly, we're talking less than an hour or so. I think it sold out in like minutes. A few weeks ago, I was checking out Amazon, like I always do, and I was checking out the listings for Transformers. I wasn't checking out specifically Optimus Prime. I was just checking out Transformers in general, the listings for what was available. And lo and behold, a pre-order was opened for the figure. And I was like, oh crap, I can't believe it. And I clicked on the listing, and the add to cart option was available. I put it and added it to my cart, and it went in, and the order got processed. So from what I understand, that pre-order lasted like half a day, maybe less, but because when I checked on it the next day, it was gone. And so I was super lucky. I had been looking all over the internet to see who would have this open for purchase. I was checking out overseas websites. I was looking at third-party vendors and all of that outside of eBay. I was extremely lucky that I was checking out eBay at that time. I'm sorry, eBay, Amazon at that time, and I was able to put in the pre-order. I did have to pay because I had this shipped directly to me here in TJ. So I did have to pay shipping and import charges, but it wasn't that much, a little bit of like $30 extra, but well worth it, I would say. And this figure arrived last week. I've had the figure for a while, just trying to figure, check it out, of course, and it arrived sometime last week. So so like I said, this is the front of the box. There's the action figure in robot. I'm sorry, the figure comes in robot mode, but I have it. We're gonna start looking at the thing in alt mode. But let's just quickly have a quick view of the back of the box, just so you understand what everything comes with this action figure. So obviously, we comes with the Optimus Prime, 40 steps, like I said, a basic mainline transformer that isn't a triple changer, 40 steps is a lot. Here you see them in a truck mode. Here you see the accessories that comes obviously with the trailer that opens up, and you have the roller, you have the repair bay drone. You got some fire effects. So you can see when it opens up. He does come with the axe, his gun, some firing effects, and how you can choose to store them in the trailer. So at the side of the box, we just have that same artwork from the that comes. It's the artwork from that scene where he steps off of of the um, the spaceship, their spaceship, when they arrive on Earth, as he's about to confront, before he was about to confront Megatron, and just a close up of that artwork. Of course, this is the famous pose from the movie, right, where he leaps off and he transforms midair. One of the coolest Transformer moments, probably the most coolest Transformer moment of all time. And here we have Optimus Prime in his truck mode. And just to give you an idea of how big this guy is, I got my ruler here. Let's straighten him out. So in total, he is 13 inches long. For those in the metric, 33 centimeters. And the trailer is 10 centimeters tall. The truck, the cab is 7 centimeters tall. In inches, he is 4 inches tall at the trailer, and 2 3/4 at the trailer. The figure, like I said, comes in robot mode inside. But like I said, I started to, since we're gonna do some comparisons, I thought we should start off in truck mode, and then we'll do the comparisons in robot mode. Yeah. What else can I say about this figure? He is about as perfect as we can get. Like I said, within the given the price range. Some would say he should be perfect, and you know what? I kind of tend to agree. You know, for the price that we are paying, given the previous examples of Optimus Prime that have come out, and we're going to see a few, like I said, but with the most recent mainline Optimus Prime, the Earthrise Optimus Prime, I think a lot of people had their hopes up with this one because the Earthrise was pretty much, I think, many people's ideal Optimus, even though that was not perfect because it still had some stuff, that kind of were like, oh, I wish they could have done better. Like the wheels hanging from the back, or the wheels showing on the legs. A lot of people were hoping we would finally get that look of the anime, of the cartoon, or the G1 cartoon, where we don't see any of the exposed wheels on the robot mode. Usually you only see that level of engineering on Masterpiece figures. So to get that kind of level of engineering on a mainline figure, we were all speculating that, yeah, they would probably have to up the budget and maybe extend this figure into the Commander class, much like the Rodimus Prime that we got for Kingdom. So I'm going to let's have a look at the cam mode first. At first, I was having some trouble having this area tab in properly, but now after a few transformations, I don't know, I either had it wrong the first time, or just some of the plastic in the joints finally like settled in. But I was finally able to get this to completely, because I had a small gap in this area, and the cab portion was leaning a little forwards, so it wasn't like a straight 90-degree cut right here, right? I had it slightly leaning forward, but now it appears to be settled. Here's the back. Now, me personally, I feel like this area right here could have been done or handled a little bit better instead of having this opening right here in the back. And of course, many people have reported the issue with the tail lights, that these are supposed to be these are misassembled and should be the other way around. This part should be on this side and this one on this side. This little this little ridge should be facing upwards on the top, and the flat area should be on the bottom. I'll make the fix, later on. Personally, I haven't, because you need to knock out a pin. So here's on the other side. A little annoyance, but part of the transformation are the smokestacks are loose. I mean, you can move them. They're not loose in that they move independently just by a mere touch. There is some like slight resistance, but they do move freely. So, but they help with part of the transformation to get things out of the way. Here's the front. Again, for those who don't know, but if you already know, the Optimus in the G1 cartoon, he never had the stripe visible in his truck mode. That was only in robot mode. So you would think, if he doesn't have the stripe in truck mode, why would he have a stripe in robot mode? Well, that goes back to the original G1 toy, where the G1 toy did have the silver stripe going on the sides. But a very solid figure. Everything clicks in right in place. The cab, the back of here, for is very, very, very well done. You don't have any junk hanging off of the back. Like I said, they could have probably done something here to make this flat or cover up this area. But yeah, overall, the figure is just, like 99% perfect. We have this little gappage right here, at the top. Maybe that could have been, something that they could have engineered, where they just have a little extra flap from, flip out. Other than that, there isn't much else they could have done, really. Well, I mean, in my opinion, there is a lot more they could have done, but we shall see in the future if we'll get a 50th anniversary that blows this one away. I don't know. So there's the Optimus figure. Now let's have a look at the trailer. The trailer, when we see comparisons with the previous trailer that we got with Earthrise, you will see that this is pretty much a fully, the comparisons are just, wow. So again, we have a very simplified version of the trailer, in that the colors are all matching the G1 animation. So there weren't any extra blue lines on the side of the trailer here, just the basic gray or gunmetal gray with a basic gray stripe. In difference, we'll see in the comparisons, but I was gonna say that this doesn't have any holes for the repair drone to pop out like the G1 toy, so we'll make that comparison shortly. And then you open it up. And there you see the repair bay mode for the trailer. We'll have a look at it, at how big it is when we transform the truck Optimus in robot mode. But you can see how everything stores neatly. So you see the gun, the blast effects, the axe. Roller is attached to the repair drone simply by a couple of tabs right there underneath. And while we have him here, let's have a look. Again, Roller was released in several colors for the G1 toy. But I think most everyone will remember him being blue for the G1 toy. But for the animation, they made him gray. This roller doesn't have any like gimmicks like flipping of parts are like a masterpiece, where some of these parts flip over to expose a light or something. No, this is just your basic roller, where he's able to he's got two 5mm ports, so you can tab in either the Optimus's gun, or here we have the repair drone. All right, this part, the canopy does open, so but you can't fit anything, you know, other than maybe if you still have any Diaclone figures, those little tiny Diaclones that came with the original Optimus Prime in Japan for the Takara line. So you can open the claw. That does carry over from the G1 toy. However, how the satellite does, but yeah, this radar does not spin. If you recall, if you have the G1 toy, this satellite dish, it spins around, and you can see here how it attaches to the trailer onto 5mm ports. So you can attach the drone to roller, and he is now ready for action. If you use the blast effects, they attach right here. So I'm going to put these guys to the side. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in some other figures so that we can do some comparisons. So I'm going to drop this in somewhere in the middle of the video after I have already finished recording the outro and everything. I never showed you the Optimus Prime holding his weapons, right? So we're going to go and do that right now because I forgot I had them inside of the storage in the trailer. So we are going to do that. And also there's some detail in the trailer that I didn't show. So the way you connect, for instance, the battle axe on the Optimus, you have to close his fist, and you have to fit the pointing finger inside of the thumb, like this. Then ball up all of his fist, and then flip out, and you're going to expose this peg, which simply attaches to the battle axe, like so. And this gun has a simple 5mm peg. You connect it into the port in the inside of the hand. You can see that he has like a little bit of a lip beneath the thumb. That's because the handle of the gun on the new and this blaster is short. You can see how short that is, but he is still able to. You can see when I have the hand open, he is still able to hold it. He grips it pretty well. He doesn't really need to grip the gun. I don't know why they chose to go with the shorter handle, but there you go. That's how you have Optimus Prime holding his weapons. Right, either hand is the same thing. And then a detail that I wanted to show for the trailer that you can see up here, up in the near the top of the trailer here. Those are the same little stations, workstations that were in the original G1 trailer. Let me take out, open the G1 trailer here that I have for comparison. So you can see right there the blue workstations. Those were meant originally when for the Diaclone line, for the little Diaclone pilots to sit in there, to position them. So this is what they did with the with the Earthrise. They just molded the same workstations there, but obviously you can't sit anybody in there. In my opinion, it's a cool detail to add, but they didn't need to add it. If they would have just kept some of that, this gribbly detail going throughout, that would have just been perfect. Or if they would have just added the details from the stickers, that also could have worked as well. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to add. And here's how Optimus Prime would look like. Whoop. Take two. This is how Optimus Prime would look like, standing in the trailer. Okay, so we're gonna start off by comparing him with the G1 Optimus Prime. So this is not an original G1 Prime. This is a KO that I acquired. I believe it was last year. I believe so. Yeah. But it's basically the same thing as the G1 toy. So we're just gonna compare this new Optimus in trailer mode, just so you can get an idea of the difference. Let's put this guy up front and then in the back. So there you can see, even though the camera, because of the angle and everything, it may look like they're about equally sized, but actually, like I said, the Optimus was 13 inches long. The G1 toy is about 12 and 1/4. So he is obviously shorter. But the at the trailer height, it's almost comparable to the 4 inches from the Studio Series. Okay, I removed the trailer and kept the cap mode on because for this next comparison, I just only wanted to feature an Optimus without the trailer, which is this guy right here, which is the MP10V. This is the KO of the, at the time, the Masterpiece 10 Optimus Prime, which at that time was probably the most perfect Optimus Prime figure that you could have. It's 15 years old, something like that. I mean, don't quote me, but it is over a decade old. And in my opinion, what they were trying to do with the Masterpiece is Masterpiece at first was trying to be like the modern reinvention of the G1 toy. They weren't necessarily going for the animation look, but what they did with Masterpiece is that's when they started to shift into a more they were trying to blend the two, but it was still more it was trying to be like a modern version of the toy itself, not necessarily the G1 cartoon that would come much later. But you can see here, of course, the comparison between the two, and you can see how taller the Studio Series is in comparison. We're gonna see these guys in robot mode, like I said, in just a little bit. But yeah, for those who can't get their hands on the Studio Series, and if no third-party company would ever do like a shrunken down version, like they did for MP10, if they don't do a shrunk down version of the Masterpiece 44, which is what this is pretty much based off of, I would recommend try and look for the MP10V to fill your mainline collection Optimus Prime. Even though, like I said, the figure, the engineering and everything is over 10 years old, it still stands up and looks solid next to your collection. That's how I was having him in mind. He was like my primary Optimus Prime. But now that I have the Studio Series, this is probably gonna take over his spot as far as the new leader of my Autobot troop. You can see, compare them lengthwise. And I don't know what has my dog going crazy. He's been barking for like the entire video. So sorry about that. All right, on to the next comparison. So the next comparison that I'd like to make, I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just going, although I am saving one for last, but for the comparisons. But I'm just going off of figures with that we've had recently. So this is the most recent Studio Series Optimus Prime that we've gotten. So this is from the Rise of the Beast movie, Optimus Prime, and you can see a big difference in terms of size and overall, bigness of the figure. You can see that this guy, for instance, he's only 2 inches wide, while the new Studio Series is 2.5 inches wide. And in terms of length, he's pretty much the same length, but again, let's compare the rears of these figures, and you can see which one has all the junk in the back, and this one, how clean he looks from the back. So if I don't know on this particular figure, if they just got lazy, or the budget wouldn't allow for better engineering to clean this whole mess up. But yeah, here you can see what your basic $30-something Voyager will get you versus a $90 action figure. This next comparison is going to be an interesting one. So this is another Optimus Prime that got released, I want to say last year. And it is the Reactivate Optimus Prime, which is based off of a video game that has been up development for 3 or so years or so, I want to say. We got like a preview trailer, last year, but haven't heard anything about it ever since. So nobody knows what the future is of this game. But we did get an action figure out of it. So we've got this comes in a 2-pack with a Soundwave. But you can see this Optimus is pretty girthy also. You can see, even though he's not as wide as the new Studio Series, but in terms of like heft, he is pretty chunky. Lengthwise, they're about the same, right? Even though he is longer because of the extended grill. I have done some touch-ups on this guy for those who have it and are wondering what the hell is going on. So I took off there's like battle damage, like they had painted on him. So I removed that. I painted this red. And I think I painted the shin, this part of the leg, of the back of the leg. This was all plastic, gray color plastic. I painted it blue. I haven't done a lot to this figure. But anyway, yeah, you can see here the comparison. Again, we're going to look at that in row 1 mode. And for this last comparison, I've put the trailer back on the Studio Series 86. We are going to compare him with the Earthrise Optimus Prime. Again, for a lot of people, this Optimus Prime is about, when it came out, was about as perfect as we could have gotten an Optimus Prime action figure. Earthrise released, let's see, around 3-4 years ago, maybe longer. I'm trying to remember. But he has been out for a while. The figure that preceded the Earthrise, the Siege, that was a lot of people's favorite Optimus Prime until Earthrise came out. Although some people still preferred Siege. I never got Siege. I never got the Siege Optimus. Something about it just wasn't seemed off, and I was content having my MP10V as my Optimus Prime stand-in figure. Luckily, we got the this guy, so I ended up getting him, right? But yeah, for a lot of people, let me finish that thought. For a lot of people, Earthrise was like the pinnacle, they were calling it mini masterpiece and all of that, myself included. But the only setback for that figure was the trailer. And you can clearly see right here the size of the thing. And I've seen this comparison done a lot. You can actually fit the entire thing lengthwise on the trailer for Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, right? You can fit him inside, but as far as length, what you got with the Earthrise is just the size and the length of the Earthrise with this trailer. And if we just compare the robot themselves, you can see the size difference. The Earthrise is about 2 inches not even 2 inches wide. We already know this guy is like 2.5, right? Yeah. So this guy is a very very small in comparison. You can see the length right there. For Earthrise, Hasbro did well, the entire trilogy, the War for Cybertron trilogy. They did decide to scale the figures slightly down, just a little bit from the previous Power of the Primes line, where they were still, all of the figures were, had that old school, quote unquote, scaling. Pretty much, Voyagers were 7 inches, Deluxes were between 5 and 5.5. So very standardized until we came to the War for Cybertron line, where now Voyagers got shrunken down a little bit to between 6.5 inches, and everything else got shrunken down with it. We're going to have a comparison in robot mode, shortly. So, should I try the transformation on camera? Yeah, let's give it a go. Let's see. I'll just fast forward through the bits if you see me struggle. So first we untab the rear. And then we separate these parts here from the side. We're supposed to twist this. Oh, wait, before we do that, have to have the wheels turn inwards. And then we can flip this area out and around to cover up the sides. There we go. You have to slide it through this little gap right there. There we go. And then we can release this. This gets tabbed through the inside of the wheels, the front wheels, right? And you can start to flip this up. So we can then now flip out the feet. And then these two tabs right here, you can separate. These flip in, which is a neat little thing, a little trick that you would usually see on like a masterpiece, where they have like little bits of engineering that only serve one purpose, and that's just to tab something in, and that's it. It has no use for robot mode or the alt mode other than just holding the thing together, which is cool. And then you flip this part out and around, and will form the front of the shins. And you're starting to see the familiar shape of the G1 Optimus, the way his legs were shaped on the cartoon, like a little, I don't know what you call the shape, trapezoidal shape. And he does, usually Optimus on the cartoon, you can see the front of his legs were like a curved, and we're curving towards the inside of his thigh. But you can see here that they tried to do the same thing here, but obviously for the engineering, they couldn't pull it off. Otherwise, it would have to look like something like this. But you do see a little bit of extra plastic here on the side. And then this goes up and out of the way. Next, we would have to flip this down so that we can get access to the arms to flip out. Okay. And then we release this part here, lower the grill. This part flips out. Again, that's its only purpose for that. Next, while we're in this position, we can, well, we need to release the back. I believe, yes. So we release this. this has to spread out in order to flip this down. And we have to spin. Maybe not yet. What am I missing? Oh, these parts right here. We flip these up. This one we have to flip. Why is it wrong? We have to flip this area around. And then we have to flip him around again at the waist. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, I did move one step forward. Before flipping the upper half of the figure, we have to move these parts out of the way. So we have to twist this one around on this hinge right here, because this forms the sides of Optimus Prime right here. And then we can lower the grill right there. Now we can turn this around. And now we're almost there. Okay, so okay. Next, on the back, we can flip the head out. At first, this piece, when connecting it in the first time I tried to transform it, was really tough. So if yours doesn't want to, when you're flipping it out for truck mode and it doesn't want to tab evenly, don't worry, you can force it. It can take it. And then this part right here, you hinge it downwards. This will flip up. And then for the back of the truck, we flip this out, and then this piece will flip upwards. Then this whole piece will flip in. This will go up. You can lower that down. And then this piece should tab into the lower back. We can flip these pieces down. Again, these only serve one purpose. You can lift them up and down for the transformation. They don't go anywhere else. You just need to flip them up. Again, another piece of like masterpiece engineering. And this little piece right here, this is supposed to tab into the back. Oh, this is supposed to be, let's see. This is a double hinge. There we go. Right there. So this part just tabs into these two parts right here. There we go. So don't forget, this is a double hinge that you need to hinge first at the bottom and then at the top. And then finally just finish this area out. I believe I missed a spot. Yes, I did. These parts right here, these need to be flipped. So we're going to have to undo all of this. I believe these go inwards. There we go. Like I said, I'm not the smoothest of transformation guys on camera, but we got there. No, this isn't tabbing. There we, there we go. These the front wheel. Sorry, the lights on the figure. These don't tab in. This is one of the things that I wished they would have found a way to engineer to either flip outwards to the side right here or hidden them better. Because when you look at it from the front, you can almost not see them, but they are still there. So I wish that they would have cleaned that bit up. Oh, this guy does have a butterfly, but we'll check that out with when we're looking at the whole posing range and everything. Okay, then you just flip the bicep and flip this out. Let's see. I just cut my nails the other day, so There we go. And then you flip the fist out, tap that in, and then flip the bicep, open the forearm, whip out the hand, and then finally you need to fix the antennas that you have to flip down for the transformation. And now here we have the Optimus Prime in robot mode. Let me adjust that camera here and we'll get right back. So here we have Optimus Prime in his robot mode. And like I said previously, and you will hear over and over again, this is the most accurate Optimus Prime G1 cartoon Optimus Prime that we are going to get for the foreseeable future. If you can't get this figure, I will say at least online, wait a little bit. It should be popping up in stores. I mean, I've already seen reports of it popping up in stores. From all accounts, they say that this guy should be plenty available, which he should be. I mean, this is probably the figure that most everyone has wanted if they don't collect, Masterpiece. We've all wanted a toy. I'm sorry, a cartoon, the G1 cartoon accurate Optimus Prime since the existence of the toy line. I mean, we'll make a comparison with the G1 figure in just a minute. But I mean, when we saw this Optimus Prime on TV for the first time and compared him to the toy, we were like, I want that guy, the one on the TV. The G1 toy, cool and everything, but the design for the G1 cartoon is, I mean, it's legendary. What else can I say? It is without a doubt one of the most iconic designs of the 80s. And man, this is the figure that we all wanted to have since we were kids. So, and now we have him. And I mean, it does not disappoint in the least, unless you're looking for nitpicks. Like, a lot of people would, complain about certain aspects about certain figures. And I've done it, of course. If we're looking at the figure objectively, we do have some, like, quote unquote flaws with the figure, or, stuff that could have been done better. Again, repeating the what I said earlier, that given the budget, this figure should have been almost about as perfect as a Masterpiece in terms of cleaning up the figure. But again, understandable because there are still budget constraints, and trying to deliver everything that we got with the figure. I think that they got about as close as they could. Unless the next release, like I said, they're gonna use a bigger budget, use a Titan class budget to shrink everything down, and then put all of that Masterpiece engineering into a mainline figure. That would be the only way we would get like the most perfect. But until that happens, this is the most perfect Optimus Prime that you could get for the mainline. And he looks the part, and this is the Optimus Prime. Now, let's have a closer look at the guy. So the head sculpt, if we're gonna again, even though I just said it's perfect, I do have my nitpicks. But of course, that's just my opinion. I mean, the head sculpt is not bad. It's perfect. I mean, it's just the only thing that I could just knock it up for is that the head usually, well, depending on who was animating the cartoon at the time, but certain times Optimus was given a little rounder head like this, and other times he had a narrower head. And that reminds me of just one thing that I wanted to do that I did not do. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So like I said, speaking of the narrow heads, so I have here, when I purchased the MP10V, he came with a bunch of extras. Some of those extras were different head sculpts. when we do the comparison with the MP10 transformed in robot mode, you will see. But he did come with a bunch of extra head sculpts. But there was one in particular that I was thinking of maybe doing or comparing for this guy, and this is this one. So this is what I mean when I say a more leaner, more squished in head sculpt compared to the one that is currently on the figure, which is a little more wider and rounder. And if I can, although that you can see the head sculpt is actually way smaller compared to the Studio Series. But this is what I was thinking when I was saying sometimes we get Optimus with a leaner head, and then we sometimes got Optimus with a wider head. So if this could have been an option that could have been included with the figure, that would have been awesome. I'm gonna see in the future how this head sculpt looks like on the figure. Since this is attached by a ball joint and this one was attached by like a hinge, they have different mechanisms, so I would have to do something to be able to fit it onto the Studio Series. But in terms of like posability and everything, the figure, I mean, you did see earlier, it does have like a double hinge for I'm sorry, not a butterfly hinge, so you can move his hands forward and or he can hook out. But it's also useful for when you want to pose him with the matrix of leadership that he comes with, which is the same matrix that we have gotten since War for Cybertron. It's the same one, although I wish we would have gotten a slightly bigger one. And he should be able to hold the matrix in at least his top fingers. There we go. So something like that. But again, I do wish they would have given him like a larger matrix of leadership, something that he would actually be able to hold with his whole hands. Actually, I have I was gonna when I was comparing him with the G1, I forgot that I actually had the KO. So I had initially transformed the new missing link. But since I had the KO with the trailer, because the missing link that I got was the one without the trailer, I used that for the comparison video in the comparison. But this is our larger matrix that came with the missing link, and this, in my opinion, is way better proportioned than this small one that we got for the War for Cybertron. And if you give Optimus this one, even though he can't wrap his whole hands around it, proportion-wise, I think this looks much better. And it still would have fit inside of his chest. So, yeah, I just wish they would have molded a larger matrix for the new Studio Series. But like I said, we do have those butterfly. Of course, he has the swivel at the bicep. He only has a 90-degree bend at the elbow. The Studio Series has a deeper bend. So again, you could argue and say, why didn't they give him double jointed elbows? He only turns at the waist. He doesn't have a nap crunch, right? We've seen some modern figures have a nap crunch. So why didn't they give this guy a nap crunch? Again, if that's a detriment, if you see that as a negative. The skirt does lift out of the way when you lift the leg. He does have a 90-degree lift, and then a little bit deeper than 90-degree bend at the knee. Single jointed knee, which is fine. You don't need a lot more for Optimus. The toe does go down, no up, and he does have the the ankle tilt. There we go. It does lock in, so you have to release it. And then from the back, let's have a look at the side. Now, the profile shot, this is where a lot of people will say, well, this is where the figure starts to look ugly. And, you know, I would say I agree. The backpack is not the most pretty of backpacks. When I compare him to the MP10, you're going to see a big difference. So a lot of this junk that we see around here doesn't look pretty. But again, you know, as a lot of us like to say, how many of us are going to pose our figures in this direction? Not a lot. So when we pose our figures, we're going to have them looking like this most of the time, facing this direction, and the backpack becomes a non-issue. But if you are one of those people that it does bother you, then, well, you're going to just have to find a way to deal with it, right? From the top, very clean looking top, no gaps or anything in this area. Like I said, the legs, no gaps or anything in the thighs. You know, when I say gap, you know, something like the waffle, you know, that's part for the joint on the upper thigh. You know, that's what I mean by like the waffling. So, you know, third-party companies may find the need to have gap fillers for that part, or maybe this part right here behind the forearm. You know, for a lot of people that could be something that bothers them. So a third-party company may come in and have this gap filler just to fill everything out. But yeah, all in all, this figure, you know, is about as perfect as we're going to get for an Optimus Prime, a G1 cartoon accurate Optimus Prime for the mainline for a while. It's just the way that it is. Let me put the matrix in him. And again, also a lot of people will say, oh, well, why wasn't there more paint? The chamber on the inside is supposed to be, you know, painted gray and a lot of different colors. Well, would you rather have no money go into the engineering or the paint of the figure? Because all of this is just colored plastic. So there you go. So let me just pause for just a second because I'm going to have to transform a bunch of figures for the comparisons. Okay, so here we have Optimus compared to G1 Optimus, KO, and the new Missing Link. The only reason that I'm putting both next to each other, both the Missing Link and a G1, even though they're pretty much the same figure, I did want to mention that for the Missing Link, since this is the anime version, it's supposed to be in the anime colors. So I just wanted to show that what I was hoping that we would have gotten with this version of the Missing Link, that we would have gotten him in this color scheme, which is the red, a slightly lighter red, and with the white hip area and the thighs. Instead, we just got a version that was just red and blue, no detailing or anything as far as for the stickers and you know, it's just a plain color scheme, no silver instead of a gray instead of a silver for like we typically have, which is part of the kind of cartoon look. And then and yeah, so that's what I was. This is the color scheme I was hoping that we would have gotten this guy, and hopefully in the future. Well, actually, we do have. I just remembered. We do have the 40th anniversary G1 Optimus Prime releasing as a Walmart exclusive shortly, which is in this color scheme. So that's another figure that I'm hoping to have in the future. But I just wanted to point out, you know, the Missing Link, which is the anime colors. This is what I was hoping that we would have. This is the color scheme I would have liked on this guy. But you can see the comparison between what I was saying, you know, what we got versus what we were shown on TV. And you can see why a lot of kids were like blown away and were, oh man, how cool it would have been if we would have gotten that G1 Optimus, you know, when we were kids. Obviously, to get to this, we had to wait, you know, 40-something years. And just for comparison, I mean, you can see the height difference. But now that we have him in robot mode, Optimus Prime, let me see if I can squeeze a little further height out of him. He is to the top of his antenna 7.5 inches and 7.25 to the top of his crest, as compared to the G1 toy, which is 6.25 inches tall, right to the top of his head. So we still got like a full inch out of, we still have a full inch taller action figure, you know, with the modern toy. So the next comparison that I want to show on the video is one that I feel like is gonna be an interesting one. As I was transforming this guy, I noticed that the transformation sequence is about as complex as on the Studio series, and despite it being, you know, a figure that is over a decade old, almost two now. So this is the KO of the MP10, and you can see, you know, height-wise, they're very comparable. The MP10 is still slightly taller. If we compare him, he is 7. 7. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 and 6/8 tall. Right. So he's almost at 8 inches tall. But as I was transforming him, you know, his transformation is very, I forgot how smooth he is. And also, not that really complex, although this version, the MP10V, is a little more simplified in certain steps. Like he doesn't lock in at when you have to release the lower legs from the upper thighs. And you know, you can flip in the side view mirrors like on the true MP10 where these flip in. You know, minor things like that they changed on the figure. But what I wanted to show is the backpack, so you can see how clean this backpack is. It's about as close to the G1 backpack, the G1 cartoon Optimus backpack that we have gotten ever in any version, even for compared to the MP44. And if you compare it to this guy, you know, you can see all of his backpack, you know. But like I said, the way this guy was, you can see the Studio Series hides the wheels inside the leg, whereas on the MP10 they chose to keep the wheels exposed on the outside of the leg. So again, the level of engineering is pretty much the same, but still certain steps were more simpler on this guy. Which, like and the head sculpts, I would say are pretty much, you know, almost the same. But like I said, the MP10 was going for a modernized version of the toy, while the Studio Series is going for the true representation of the cartoon version of Optimus Prime, and that is what this accomplishes. You know, so it's all up to you if you prefer cartoon aesthetic or toy aesthetic. So while I'm transforming one figure here for comparison, I just you know, thought I just wanted to express a thought that I've always had since the release of the existence of the Studio Series line. For me, the Studio Series line should be like the midpoint between as far as the levels of engineering. As, the Studio Series should have a level of engineering that is higher than your basic mainline Transformer figures. Although some people will say the Studio Series is part of the mainline, I would disagree, and I would argue that because of the level of complexity for which the original Studio Series figures were made, meaning the Michael Bay Transformers, which, as you know, those figures, you know, the way they transformed on screen was way, way, way more radical than anything we had seen in any cartoon or toy line ever. So to me, a Studio Series action figure should be like that midpoint between Masterpiece and a mainline figure. I would say that because the whole thing about the Studio Series is that they're going for screen accuracy. So the level of engineering should be higher than your standard uh, action figure from the main line. The purpose of the main line is to have a toy you can play with and not fuss around with it too much, but that you will still have a level of fun with it when you are transforming it. So, in my opinion, that should be the ultimate goal for a Studio Series action figure. And now that I am almost done with this next guy, which is giving me troubles, let me pause. Okay, so now that I'm done with this next transforming this guy, we are going to compare him to the latest the latest movie version of Optimus Prime from the Rise of the Beasts. So this is the buzzworthy Optimus Prime from the buzzworthy line. Excuse me. Although it's part of Studio Series, it's the way they released this figure is a little, mm, but anyway, he's part of the Studio Series line, and you can see how shorter he is in comparison. The Studio Series, the Rise of the Beasts, is right around 7 inches. So he is about still a 7 to 7.25 inch shorter. But what this figure has, excuse me, that the new Optimus doesn't, is he does have an ab crunch, you know. So again, something that a lot of people were hoping that they could manage to fit into a higher price point figure. Again, this is a $35 figure, you know. Well, there's that. This next Optimus that I'm going to compare him, I would say, is a sleeper of a hit. I don't think many people were expecting this figure to be as good as it is, or any right for it to be as good as it is. But I will say that as I was transforming him, he does have some familiar tricks that have gone into previous Optimus Primes up until the release of this figure, which I believe is the most recent Optimus Prime that we have gotten up until Studio Series 86. And that is the Reactivate Optimus Prime. I will say that if you're not a fan of the designs from the movies, I will say that this easily could have been the aesthetic they could have used for the Michael Bay movies, or the new whatever you want to call them, prequels, to the Bay movies, since the reset with the Bumblebee movie and then Rise of the Beasts. Um, what this figure accomplishes is one of the most uh, sturdy, complete, and just uh, you know, I'm astounded at how good this figure is, uh, knowing that the source is something that we may never we may never get to see, which is the video game that they're developing. So yeah, this and you can see he is also a very tall Optimus Prime. He's still shorter than the Studio Series 86, but he is also one of the tallest Optimus Primes we have gotten recently. And you again compare him to the Earthrise. I'm sorry, not the Earthrise, the Rise of the Beasts, and he's taller than that. Compare him to MP10B, and he's about obviously we know MP10 is taller than the Studio Series. But he doesn't look out of place with him. But yeah, this figure for what Reactivate has no business being as good as it is. Seriously, if you can find them. Obviously, the drawback is he comes with a two pack with Soundwave. With the Soundwave figure, it's actually really good as well. But hopefully, they do release it as a single release in the future. Maybe with a better color scheme, without the it had the same schmutz than the War for Cybertron figures that had the battle damage. So I removed all of that, as I mentioned previously, and also did some touch ups in some other areas. But yeah, this figure has no right to be as good as it should be, but it is an awesome Optimus Prime. And if you don't have like the Earthrise or the Siege, I would say this guy would fit into your collection perfectly. Obviously, he does have like a radical design with that front grill, menacing front grill. But other than that, this is an amazing Optimus Prime figure. Very cool, very cool. And I didn't know what to expect from this figure, but any expectations that I had were blown away. Seriously, that's how good this is. And now, finally, the comparison that I think most people are going to be making when, comparing in terms of which is the best Optimus Prime, modern Optimus Prime for your collection, is with this guy, the Earthrise Optimus Prime. Obviously, the big difference is size. The Earthrise is just under 7 inches, but in terms of like overall, bulk and girth and presence, you can see that the Studio Series 86 has it, right? But that doesn't take away from the awesomeness that is the Earthrise. Now, the Earthrise, in my opinion, was trying to be the perfect blend of the G1 toy. Let me fix it. So I can finish my thought here. So, in my opinion, the Earthrise was going for the perfect blend of G1 toy with G1 cartoon. If Hasbro wanted to nail the cartoon look with this guy, there were obvious things they could have done to remedy that, and in a very simple ways. For instance, the exposed wheels. They could have had as simple as a cover that could have flipped out to cover the wheels, or have the wheels flip inwards into the thigh. All right, simple solution to the exposed wheels, but they chose to keep the wheels exposed, kind of like the G1 toy, or the front wheels from the cab. They chose to have those exposed. Instead, they could have done something like with the Rise of the Beast, where they could have hidden the wheels inside of the back portion of the figure. I mean, they're still exposed, but they're hidden from the front, right? Instead, they chose to keep the wheels, and they chose to engineer the figure like this. But it's something that we have learned, and what some people have done is these can be removed, right? And then you simply have a better looking, cleaner looking figure, which is comparable to the cartoon look, right? So it's all up for personal taste as to what you are looking for in your Optimus Prime. I will say that for the enjoyment that we got from Earthrise, it's not a bad figure. And if you prefer Earthrise over Studio Series, you are not wrong in picking Earthrise over Studio Series. There are certain things that this guy can accomplishes in less steps than the Studio Series. It has a way cleaner backside, other than the wheels. If this doesn't bother you, right? But then there are things like having the gray plastic instead of having it all be blue. You could say the elbows being gray instead of red could be something that bothers you. But overall, I guess what I'm saying is you can't go wrong with Earthrise. But for me, as a kid who grew up with the G1 cartoon and the G1 toys, this is what I have always wanted. And for me, that is what puts Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime over the top from the Earthrise. For me, the Earthrise is the evolution of the G1 toy, but Studio Series to me is the the ultimate dream come true for a G1 fan of Transformers. If you grew up in different eras, different Optimus Primes will be your Optimus Prime, right? But for me, if you're a fan since the G1 days, this is what you have always wished for, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that I share the same sentiment with a lot of fans that grew up with the G1 cartoon, that this Optimus Prime, is what we've always wanted. And now he's here. Again, unless you collect Masterpiece. Masterpiece MP44, I would say still trumps in some ways Studio Series. Because of the more complex engineering, he also comes with a trailer fully decked out and all of that. So again, it just depends. I don't collect Masterpiece, so for me, I was hoping maybe a company would KO Optimus, the Studio Series. I'm sorry, the Masterpiece, and shrunk him down like they did the MP10. That never happened. So I'm hoping, so we were all hoping one day that we would get a true cartoon version of Optimus Prime, and now Hasbro delivered. Not perfect, but as close as perfect that we can get right now. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this Optimus Prime is the ultimate Optimus Prime for you? Or do you still think one of the other figures that I showed in the video, fit better for your collection as your Optimus Prime? Again, you can't go wrong with either of them. They all fill in a different need. And you know what? I'm all for it. Even though I'm a fan of G1 and I prefer the G1 aesthetic, but I still think, something like this is really awesome. And it's only a shame that the figure can be a little bit bigger. I still think that something like this is really cool. And also I can still enjoy, something as simple as this. Let's just finish it off with like that. Well, we started and where we are right now. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you in the next one.